Freedom of speech is dead, and the internet killed it. We live in a world now where AI controls everything. And once that SORA watermark goes away, you're never going to know what the truth is again. There's so much skepticism and deceit in the world that we literally cannot tell what is true. And humans aren't meant to live like this. We're not meant to have to question everything so hard. That's why anxiety is spiking right now across the country. I guarantee you, across the world. It's because people are existing in an environment that is not conducive to humanity. We need certainty and structure and things to make sense. We were meant to live off the land and survive, not have everything provided for us. Not have everything that we think and say criticized and scrutinized. Not to have to do an entire afternoon of research just to decide if one event happened. We're not cut out for this. Biologically, we are not cut out for this. Our brains, our body, our chemistry, all of it is completely out of whack, and we have no idea how to actually cope with the world anymore. We exist in what seems to be a complete absence of truth, a vacuum of information that is simultaneously entirely empty and entirely too full. We rely on corporate fact checkers and politicians to tell us who to hate and why. We let them form all of our opinions and our entire personalities. Our children don't care what we have to say, they care what their favorite influencer has to say. And how will we ever explain the concept of truth to them when it doesn't really exist the same way it used to for us? People don't believe in anything that they see unless there's a bunch of sources that verify it, and if there are sources that verify it, they don't believe in the sources either. There is no truth anymore, there's only feeling. Like, I feel like corporations are out to get us, I feel like the government's not on our side anymore, but I don't know how to articulate it because I can't prove it, and if I did, nobody would believe me. If you introduce a narrative or an opinion that somebody doesn't agree with, they'll just report your account and get you banned. And that's just regular people, not even governments. Governments, corporations, they'll completely deplatform you, even make you disappear. You only really have free speech on the internet if you are towing the line. If whatever you're saying is harmless and goes with the narrative that's being pushed. And the narrative that's being pushed shifts all the time with changes in political power. You might spend a 4-year period with your narrative being heavily supported. And then the new guy comes in and your narrative gets you put into prison. I personally have received and reported literal death threats over on TikTok for speaking out against things like Israel, corporate greed, and left versus right political bullshit. And when people threaten to literally kill me, there's no community guidelines violation found. But if I come out and blame corporations for the EBT crisis we're about to go through, I'm the bad guy and I get demonetized. But I guess it could have not been the corporations, it could have been the Israelis. You know, given that I was talking about their propaganda efforts on the West Coast. You should look up the Show Faith by Works DOJ FARA document. That's a very illuminating piece of literature. That is assuming that you can find it. I'll link it down below, and I've also got it uploaded to my YouTube in its entirety. But still, even with a source coming directly from the Department of Justice, I can get labeled as misinformation and banned, deplatformed, and even probably assassinated. I have no wood to knock on, but you're more than welcome to give it a shot. So what do? We can't trust the media, nobody trusts influencers. People need a source for everything, and the sources are fake. AI drives the narrative now. AI and the people who control it. Do we keep shouting into the abyss and wait for them to come for us? Do we give up and hide in a hole? No, we keep shouting until somebody hears us. Someday it might be impossible. Maybe there has to be another means. But just because AI has stepped in and made things impossible to believe, just because we can't trust one another does not mean that we have to be silent. Doesn't mean that we have to quit. Yes, we are living in a dystopia right now that rivals 1984. And the people in all of these dystopian novels never gave up. Am I saying that we have to rebel against the government? No, not necessarily. But we do have to hold the government accountable. We have to keep calling out the things that they are doing to silence and suppress us. We have to keep calling out the corporations and the media for driving narratives and trying to turn us against one another. And at the end of the day, the ultimate truth is the Word of God. Now, I know I lost a few of you there. But if you're searching for truth, if you're searching for something that makes sense, I'm telling you, this book right here, let me get all my crap out of the way. This book is the truth. It's an island of peace and truth in the times that we're living in right now. But it doesn't mean that we can retreat entirely into the book. We live in the world that we live in, and if we don't do something to change the world that we live in, it will change us. And I'm starting to get a feeling that might not necessarily be for the better. I love you. Be blessed.